On the opening day of Wimbledon, a tournament steeped in tradition and excellence, a harsh and unforgiving reality overshadowed the grass courts. What should have been a celebration of athletic prowess became a stark reminder of the human limits against nature's extremes. John McEnroe, himself a Wimbledon legend, didn't mince words when he voiced his concern. He warned of the potential for something serious, something tragic, to unfold if conditions didn't change. His voice carried weight, forged by decades of experience, and reflected the worry shared by all who witnessed the day's unsettling events. The first and perhaps most jarring moment came when Ons Jabeur, twice a Wimbledon finalist and a beloved figure in the sport, was forced to retire from her opening match. In the latter stages of the first set, she struggled to breathe. You could see the strain on her face, the confusion in her movements, and then the heartbreaking reality: she could no longer continue. Jabeur's withdrawal wasn't tactical. It wasn't because of injury or poor form. It was because the environment became hostile to human endurance. The heat, relentless and suffocating, had claimed its first victim. But Jabeur's exit was just the beginning. On center court, where the game's greatest battles have been fought, another distressing moment unfolded. Carlos Alcaraz, one of the sport's brightest stars, was locked in battle with the ever-tenacious Fabio Fognini when the crowd's attention shifted from the baseline to the stands. A spectator, overcome by the oppressive heat, required immediate medical attention. The match was suspended for 15 minutes as emergency teams responded. Fans waited anxiously, the festive atmosphere replaced by collective concern. The interruption was a sobering reminder: this wasn't just a battle between athletes. It was a test of human endurance for everyone present. Players, spectators, ball kids, and officials, all were at the mercy of the weather. As the day wore on, another worrying scene played out. Elena-Gabriela Ruse, a fighter on court known for her grit, found herself overwhelmed. During her match against American number 6 seed Madison Keys, Ruse became visibly ill. Her body, pushed beyond its limit, faltered before the crowd's eyes. She paused, bent over in discomfort, and for a moment, the match ceased to matter. What mattered was her well-being. The concern wasn't isolated to these few incidents. Players wiped sweat from their brows after every point. They doused themselves with ice towels, sat in shaded corners between games, and battled not only their opponents but the scorching sun overhead. It was clear, Wimbledon, in all its storied history, was facing a challenge it wasn't prepared for. John McEnroe's words echoed beyond the commentary box. "This is dangerous," he warned. "You push these athletes too far, and we could be dealing with something serious. Not just dehydration, something worse." The question lingered in the air: how much longer could this go on before someone paid the ultimate price? Wimbledon, revered for its tradition, now faces a modern dilemma. The tournament, known for its all-white dress code, strawberries and cream, and grass court elegance, must also adapt to the harsh realities of climate change. Gone are the days when London's summer heat was merely warm and pleasant. Now, it threatens the very athletes who define the sport's greatness. Medical teams were on high alert throughout the grounds. Hydration stations and shaded rest areas were no longer optional, they were lifelines. But was that enough? As temperatures rose, the question wasn't just about who would advance to the second round, but who would remain standing. Wimbledon's officials now face critical decisions. Should matches be rescheduled to cooler hours? Should play be suspended under extreme heat conditions? The safety of players and fans alike hangs in the balance. On court, players showed resilience. But resilience has limits. Carlos Alcaraz, despite the disruption, regrouped and played on. Madison Keys showed concern for her opponent but remained focused when play resumed. These are professionals conditioned for battle, yet no amount of training can fully prepare an athlete for the extremes witnessed on that opening day. It was a reminder that while athletes may appear superhuman, they are, after all, human. And the spectators, many who traveled from afar to witness history, found themselves caught in a health crisis of their own. Heatwaves across Europe have become more frequent, more intense. Tennis, an outdoor sport, cannot escape the consequences. McEnroe's plea wasn't for the sake of tradition but for the future of the sport. What happens if an athlete collapses under the weight of this heat and doesn't recover? How will Wimbledon, the ATP, the WTA, and tennis fans worldwide respond? The first day of what should have been a glorious fortnight of tennis turned into a warning. Not just for this tournament, but for all outdoor sporting events in a changing world. Ons Jabeur's tearful departure spoke volumes. A player of her caliber, so close to glory in years past, had no choice but to walk away. Her exit wasn't a defeat by an opponent but by conditions beyond her control. The players are warriors, yes. But warriors cannot fight the sun. Fans, who came for aces and rallies, instead found themselves praying for the health and safety of the people on court. Wimbledon's rich history now has a new chapter, one filled with uncertainty and concern. No trophy can justify risking a player's health. No victory is worth sacrificing well-being. Athletes train for every scenario, but they cannot out-train climate extremes. What unfolded at Wimbledon was bigger than tennis. It was a wake-up call. A call to rethink match scheduling, player safety protocols, and heat policies at the highest level. Legends like McEnroe have spoken. Now the question is, who is listening? This is no longer about one tournament, one match, or one player. This is about the future of outdoor sports worldwide. As the sun set on the opening day of Wimbledon, questions remained. Will tomorrow be safer? Will changes be made before tragedy strikes? For now, all we can do is hope. Hope that athletes like Ons Jabeur will recover fully. Hope that spectators who fell ill will return home safely. Hope that governing bodies will act, not react. Because tennis, at its core, is about competition, but never at the cost of life. The ball is now in Wimbledon's court.